Hi, good evening, and welcome back to my first Friday night live stream in a while. My dog is already bugging me to get off the live stream, so we'll see how this goes. I have a really cool show for you. I've put together, my dog's saying hi. I put together a few sound bites. It's probably going to be a quick live stream. I just wanted to put the information together, and because I think there's a lot of other live streams going on. I was just in Kane B, the Purge's live stream, and it was excellent. His chat is hopping, hey toes. And I've been chatting with 12 in the chat before we got started. So I should just plug. He has a really cool segment going on Saturday. Trying to pull up. It's at 9 Central, but he's reviewing an early interview with one of the parents of the victims, Kara Cornodal. So you'll have to check that out. Anyway, so what I wanted to show to you tonight, I've done a few shows on debunking mainstream media myths. And so I kind of wanted to continue with that theme, but I'm just doing one tonight. And so I want to open by showing this traffic stop with Brian Kohlberger from October 13th. And after this, I'm going to play you a clip that was on Nancy Grace, and Heather Fitzgerald sent this to me. It's kind of I guess you could say like a media psychologist, and she's giving this really, I should say, I don't know how to describe this, but it's not what I've ever heard for somebody coming out and describing a psychopath in the media. And then I'm going to bring you a forensic psychologist that I've had on this channel who's going to actually tell you her analysis of what she feels traits of a psychopath could or couldn't be. So let's start with this clip, and then we'll move to Nancy Grace, and then we're going to move to Dr. Kathleen Ramsland.
Hello, I am Officer Loangus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You ran the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
so
I was behind you the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, you're not supposed to enter the intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, and then you run the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Yep.
Do you have the registration and insurance?
Oh, hello, Emma.
You what?
I'm just going to get this out for you.
Okay.
I mean, I want to play this because this is the clip that they're discussing in this interview I'm going to show you.
So would you explain that to me a little bit further? So in Pennsylvania, when you're stuck in the intersection, you have to make the left.
100%.
So what would the appropriate thing for me to have?
I'm starring your comment. I'm going to go back and read them afterwards.
You're not supposed to block an intersection like that in Washington. So just by you blocking the intersection, that's technically a ticketable violation. And then then you're running a red light. So it's another ticketable offense. So you're not supposed to proceed into the intersection until you can go. Because a lot of people do what you just did, right? Is like you're sitting in the intersection waiting, and then turns, and then you're blocking. So
yeah, there was a little bit of confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then they put on their light to turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that maybe they were letting me go through.
Oh.
Did you see that?
No. Mm-mm.
I feel like right before I made the turn, there was.
It does kind of sound like something that would happen to me.
They didn't have their, their signal on, so I wasn't sure.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would just advise just don't enter the intersection until you can go, so you don't get stuck. Let's see.
But in that situation, the best thing to do then would be back up. And not.
I don't know if there's a best thing to do in that situation, because you're either going to back up into somebody or you're going to run a red light. So, or you're going to be sitting in an intersection.
Yeah.
There's not really a great option there.
Yeah, I was just slightly into the crosswalk, so where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh,
so even if you're kind of slightly, there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines, like there's one white line and there's another one. Like there's like a certain margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle.
We were talking about this stop. This
Yeah.
stop.
So I know laws vary state to state, but there is a law in Washington for blocking
I'm
an
gonna
intersection like that,
pause
proceeding through and
for a second. 12. Just knowing you have, your mapping skills and everything. We were talking about this stop earlier today with Bubbly, and a Mish Girl, and I believe they said this was on Latah Street in Pullman. So, I mean, we could look and see. It looks like it's on campus, but we could look and see like how close it is to. 12's question is, do you think he knew any of those students in the background? I'm just going to read a couple of these while I have this pause. And once we get through this, we're going to get to the sound bites. So, hey, what tripped me out was seeing the expiration date on his insurance paperwork, and it shows the date as November 22nd, 11/22, King or Queen Road. I don't know what you're referencing, official. That's interesting. I do too. And like I'm listening to it. It does sound like he's trying to get out of a traffic stop, but doesn't he not get out of it, but doesn't he sound like any of us when we're trying to explain ourselves? I mean, he shouldn't have ran the intersection, but you're gonna have an explanation if the cop asks you. Angel D says, I thought he was gonna tell her, y'all know I'm a criminology student. Don't the police usually want a phone number? Oh my gosh, that was a funny conversation earlier. And honestly, that's what kind of brought this up is we started talking about this in the live stream earlier. And I'm like, I should get this segment done. All right, so I'm gonna finish playing this. This is a long clip. I don't know if I want to play the whole thing. I thought I had, this is a 9-minute clip. I'm gonna go to here. Hold on, because this is when he goes back to the car. This is the shot I use usually on my channel anyway. And then we'll get to the Nancy Grace clip. And then I will debunk it, sort of. Let's see.
Okay, so I found it. So I don't know what in Pennsylvania where you go to find laws, but in Washington it's called the Revised Code of Washington. So I'll try to turn my brightness up, but it's just called an RCW. So it's RCW 46.61.202. So it's no driver shall enter an intersection unless there is significant space on the other side of the intersection. To accommodate the vehicle he is operating without obstructing the passage of other vehicles, despite any traffic control signal indications to proceed. So you had a green light, so you're thinking you can go, but you're blocking the intersection. Yeah. So that's if you're ever curious in any laws in Washington, just Revised Code of Washington. So I'm not writing a ticket or anything like that today. I understand you're from Pennsylvania, but in the future, don't proceed through the intersection. You can't get stopped for that alone unless you can clearly just clear it right away.
Okay.
So
that basically, I understand.
You're just supposed to wait behind the white line. Drivers do it all the time. But
it never even occurred to me that was actually something wrong. But well, except for the fact that I was blocking the crosswalk, which is what I went through. And
states vary a lot from laws. Like Pennsylvania might not even have that law, but in Washington we do.
I'm actually just from a very rural area.
Mm-hmm. So is releasing a new video today?
Don't have crosswalks.
Oh,
you released it already?
There are crosswalks.
Gotcha.
All right, I'm starring your comment.
Yeah,
I do apologize if I was asking you too many questions about the law. I wasn't trying to
No, not at all. Like I understand you're not from here, so if you don't, a lot of people don't know a bunch of laws. Like I only know it because this is what I do. But if you're ever curious on any more laws, just RCW, and they can be hard to read because it's in like legal language. But hope that helps.
Definitely.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Definitely. You too.
Thanks.
Okay, so official, you got me like wanting to see what you saw. We're just going to back up because official says that he could have sworn he saw the date on the paperwork said 11/22 King or Queen Road. Hold on, I'm trying to put it right here.
So would you
I think that's what you're looking at. It does kind of look like it because got November 30th, 2022. Let's see. 4/20/2022. Okay. Gosh, I don't know if I see an address. Go a little further. Oh, just missed it. Hold on. I can go frame by frame. Hold on. It's 119 Lambsden Drive. So 119. All right. Well, we just wanted to clear that up. All right. So let's get to what we're here for. So, okay, Jeff, I was just thinking I haven't seen you in so long. I didn't know if you were boycotting my channel. Oh, it was blocking the paperwork? Let me go back. Jeff, I was actually using the technique that you taught me to do this. All right. Let me move my avatar too so it's not in the way. I'll go like this. So at least I debunked 2 things tonight. Oh, someone just mentioned the month and year on another channel. Oh no, I'm glad you brought it up because if somebody had said it on another channel, I'd want to know too. All right, so let me show you the Nancy Grace clip that I wanted to show you, and then we're going to get into why I think that maybe this is. I want to say I'm debunking the story, but I could just be like taking the sensationalness away from it. And I'm going to put up a banner because I'm getting the clip off of Heather Fitzgerald's channel. And she was the one, she sent me this a couple weeks ago because I think she could just probably read my mind that this would be something I'd want to talk about because she was there when I interviewed Dr. Ramsland and kind of talked about this subject. I'm just finding her channel handle and let me pull up the video. And if you go to her channel, the name of the video is Idaho for bougie, Nancy Bougie.
Nancy, for psychopaths, which he most certainly is, sex and violence are fused. They are considered one and the same. They go hand in hand. So with the female cop, we can see that he's lying prolifically. He says there are no crosswalks in his state. He's fascinated by the law because that is the thing that gives him proximity to thinking about crimes. A man who wants to commit murder will surround himself with criminality. But to answer your question, I've always felt that these girls are so beautiful and lovely that he wanted to eradicate something good.
You know, when we think about what Dr. Bethany just said, the aspect, Steve, which I know no one likes to think about, but proving this case.
Thank you, Angel.
Will require this. The lying in wait aspect. There's no question about it. Yes, the state has said in open court there's no evidence of stalking, but we know his phone turned up along that strip behind the King Road address multiple times. We know he was watching the house and your daughter.
What? A bullshit? A bullshit?
I wonder where she got that, Jeff.
Bullshit.
If you don't know, that's Jeff's little. he brought that to YouTube recently. So we just heard that take, and obviously has the education and she's smarter than me, but I just want to push back on. She probably gave a really great professional description, but maybe just left out the other part of the story, which is it's very hard to spot, number one, an extreme offender, but primarily a psychopath. And the psychopaths that you can spot, generally speaking, those people, you spot those symptoms very young, and you don't have to squint to see those symptoms. They're like obvious. And there are different types of extreme offenders, and there are a small sliver of them that do have some predictability. But in general, this is just a fantasy. So I'm going to play you this 5-minute clip from Dr. Kathleen Ramsland. And she was a guest on my channel a few months back. I was very honored. I will put the disclaimer, because we are talking about the Idaho 4, that one of the stipulations when she came on my channel is that there was no discussing of the case. So this has nothing to do with the case. This has to do with her practice. She only answers questions within the scope of her practice. But with that said, you'll understand the connection that I'm drawing. Oh, and of course I did. There it is. This was supposed to be a short live stream. I don't know why. Educational. So you wrote about some cultural misconceptions that psychopaths have a specific traits or habits. And then the article goes on to read, modern culture is full of supposed research findings about psychopaths, claiming that such things as their preference for black coffee, dark chocolate, cryptocurrency, and business majors. Do any of the generalizations that I just mentioned help predict a psychopath?
They really don't. I have found that most of the studies that they claim these ideas are based on are flawed. They're not representative. Often the sample size is too small or it's skewed. For example, there was a recent one. You can tell a female psychopath because she doesn't move her head when you're in conversation. And that was based on, I think, a sample size of 218 people who were incarcerated. So that's not representative. You can't generalize to a large population from something as small as that, and especially if it's not a random sample. So many of these studies are flawed, but they get headlines. And that's the thing. If you say, oh, if you drink black coffee or like dark chocolate, you're more likely to be a psychopath. It grabs people's attention. It makes them think they have a sense of what a psychopath is. And it's just false. But it's a way that media oversimplifies the concept. Psychopathy is actually a very complex condition. And it has factors and facets and dimensions and has a long history of evolving in many different ways. So the idea that because somebody owns cryptocurrency, they're more likely to be a psychopath, or because they're business majors, or, these are all absurd notions to anyone who's a professional, but it gets media attention.
Yeah, and it's got so much media attention that it really grabbed my attention, because I have read those things before, and it just was such a fascinating read, and I highly recommend it for anyone that's listening. And my mods are going to link both her blog and Psychology Today and her Substack below if you want to read more of Dr. Ramsland's writings. And I think the next one is about the next question to you. I've read in some instances that law enforcement has turned to serial killers for investigating unsolved murder cases. Based on your research, should law enforcement use serial killers' unique insights to evaluate crime scenes or files?
Yeah, the idea that a serial killer has unique insight in a way that helps investigations is more of a fiction than reality. We have certainly had some cases. The most famous is Ted Bundy contacting the Seattle task force on the Green River killer in the 1980s. Bundy at this point was in prison. He had already been convicted. He had death sentences, probably bored, looking for things to do. and he offered his help. And so they thought, well, it'd be worth going to talk with him at the very least to get, and this is before he had made any confessions. So they thought it would be worth talking to him because he'd probably reveal a lot of things about his own MO, which is exactly what happened. It did not help them figure out who the Green River Killer was. Another one was in California. They were trying to use a serial killer who was part of a team, the Bittaker and Norris team. They're trying to use insights from Norris to catch a guy named Bill Bonin. And all the things he had to say were things that he did. It really wasn't about Bonin. It didn't help to catch Bonin. We really don't have an example of a serial killer having such special insight that they're the only ones that could have helped solve these cases and caught these killers. We don't have any real world examples of that, but we have them in fiction, like Hannibal Lecter. So it is a fictional concept, and it's kind of a romantic concept, but in fact, they don't help that much.
That one thing really blew my mind when I was reading that particular article is that there's never
I had detectives call and say, hey, you want to do a ride along tonight? We'll probably have a murder. That was New York City. We had 2 murders that night. Just because I was a writer. I was on an exhumation team. I spent a week at the body farm in Tennessee. These are all things that came my way because I was credentialed as a writer and as a professor. So I think I didn't aim to do this. I didn't aim to be an expert on serial killers, but the more opportunities that came my way, I jumped at them, always ready, and always tried to do a good job so that the next opportunity that came my way, I would get. And I think that's the way I've always lived my life, is on the edge of my seat, ready for the next thing.
I probably should set Thank this
you
for that. That's good advice for all of us. So what I said was Angel D asked Dr. Kathleen Ramslin a question. And since we had Angel D in the chat, I figured you guys would want to see the question that she asked her because it was pretty good. So that's what I was saying while I was muted. My 10-minute live stream is turning into a 30-minute live.
So I don't know. Angel D has a question for you, and I think this is really interesting. You can answer it however you want. Have you ever met a psychopath who was attractive to you? Many are so charming, because that's what I always think too. The stereotypical psychopath is a charmer.
Yes, I certainly have. I would say, I mean, all of us who are in the field and are experts on psychopaths know that we can be deceived. If you ever come to believe that you are so knowledgeable that you can't be manipulated or lied to, you're vulnerable. We're always vigilant. I'm more concerned about some of the other people I've run into that I think are attractive, but are like psychological vampires who just trespass on your boundaries and take and take and take, and they're not necessarily psychopaths. So in my life, they've been much more damaging than a psychopath has. But yeah, I mean, lots of psychopaths are charming and manipulative, and that's what they're vigilant for what is going to work with you, because they always have their own agenda first. They're narcissists, and they're reward oriented, and they will figure out how they can exploit you and take advantage of you for their benefit. They always will.
I'm muted in that video. Isn't that awful? Okay. We're going to move on from that. This is the live feed I didn't edit. Poor that should be my thumbnail. Dr. Ramslin going, shushing me. I never noticed that before. That's hilarious. You guys had some really good comments. I just wanted to get to those really quickly. I starred a few of them. So Official says, and we may have read this one, but now that we've gotten through the sound bites, I thought it'd be worth reading again. It's so annoying how the media portrays a psychopath without knowing the science behind it, and how the brain scans have determined and shown the same anomalies in the prefrontal cortex in charge of empathy. And I mean, I wonder though, like, are there physical symptoms? But it is interesting, and I definitely have heard that there's, I don't know if it's showing who's more prone to psychopathy or extreme offenders, or who already is. I don't know the study that well, but it is so annoying. And the woman that we listened to is obviously a doctor. Like, it's, I don't want to, I'm trying really hard to not say it feels like it's misleading. We'll leave it like that. And then Toe says he released a new video today. Toe's, I'll as long as it doesn't have swears or anything, you know, that bad in it, I'll play it. You put out a community post too before everybody else the other day. I thought was really good, updating Steve's LinkedIn. So yeah, we'll check that out afterwards. Thank you for reminding me. And then Official also say you can see it in their eyes. It's like the frontal part of their facial expression closes to the prefrontal cortex, causing this like stupid kind of stare look. It varies. That's so weird, because there are people, like, I don't know why, I just don't let you stare into their face and you just don't. That's interesting. I wonder if it's measurable. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at YouTube videos, they can like measure the dimensions of your face and stuff. I wonder if, like, you know, the ratio of the brow to the forehead, or the, you know what I mean? And then Jeff says, and Jeff, I'm glad to have you back. I imagine this female officer remembered this traffic stop with Brian when the Bolo went out for the white Elantra, or even before it went out to the public. I know, but then she'd call it into the tip line and nobody would hear from it for, well, I wonder if she would remember, because it was October 13th. Like, how many a police officer, if we have a police officer in the audience, and do you remember a car you pulled over a month earlier? Or maybe she'd go through her records. I don't know. And then Angel D says, yeah, they tend to stare you in the eye that little bit too long. Have to learn human behavior by mirroring, allegedly. Psychopaths don't catch the infectious yawn allergy, but they'll learn to copy it in most cases. Is that true? Psychopaths don't catch yawns? Angel D, are you spreading more mainstream media myths? I'm just kidding. I was just looking. It said team no speak, and I was so scared that I was still muted. Okay, so Toes has a new video, and that was all I had for you guys tonight. So why not play Toes' video and see what he has to say? Toes, I hope this isn't like a 40-minute video, because I kind of am getting tired. And micro grab my vape pen, if that's what we're going to be doing. Okay. Let me pull that up. I have to go get your handle so that I can make a banner for you. Oh, Xana's car. This is an interesting. This is a perfect video for us to show right now. It's only 1.5 minutes. All right, you guys, let me get myself off the screen. This is called Xana's car.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for viewing Turning Over Every Stone. You can call me Toes. I was watching a video on Court TV, and it was titled, Idaho Student Murders. Victim Kaylee Gonsalves' parents join Court TV. It was released on August 9th, 2024, and it shows one of the investigators or reporters, I don't know. He's driving around the King Road neighborhood, and when he enters the King Road neighborhood, I noticed that there is a vehicle that looks very similar to Xana's. If you guys get a chance, I want your opinion on it. Leave it in the comments, and thank you for watching.
The University of Idaho campus, as you can see, there's a group of students right here in front of me. Very busy out here as school is preparing to start back, but right up here, as we make this left turn onto King Road, up here on the right, I'll slow it down just a little bit. Go slow it down just a little bit. Is where the King Road house would have been. You can see it's blocked off right here.
I'm watching one more time. I'm going to skip the intro, but I want to see that car in the snow and then see that.
Watching a video on Court TV, and it was titled, Idaho Student Murders. Victim Kaylee Gonsalves' parents join Court TV.
All right, let's take a look at the tail lights, you guys. Is this a Honda Civic right here? And what I'm looking at? All right, so this is the best way for us to do it. I've learned from my true crime family. So we're looking at the taillights. There's a little white mark there. All right, let's go.
It was released on August 9th, 2024, and it shows one of the investigators or reporters, I don't know. He's driving around the King Road neighborhood, and when he enters the King Road neighborhood, I noticed that there is a vehicle that looks very similar to Xana's. If you guys get a chance, I want your opinion on it. Leave it in the comments, and thank you for watching.
The University of Idaho campus, as you can see, there's a group of students right here in front of me. Very busy out here as school is preparing to start back, but right up here, as we make this left turn onto King Road, up here on the right, I'll slow it down just a little bit. Go slow it down.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell because it's pixelated, Toes. Like I was getting ready fully to debunk that. But now that I see it paused like that, it's about as clear as it's going to get. And it does look like it has the little white line at the bottom. I don't know. Well, we have it now. Everybody's got the picture. What do you guys think in the chat?
Just a little bit. Able to try to slow it down just a little bit. Is where the King Road house would have been. You can see it's blocked off right here.
Interesting, Toes. Thank you for what an interesting segment. Okay. Well, now everybody's seen it. So what do you guys think in the chat? Before I turn it off for the night. Wait, Angel D says, oh my God, you're not helping my reputation right here. Oh, great. What happened? Oh, yeah, well, I didn't even look. Wait, please don't pin these. Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right, I am going to sign off, but Kane, Kane. I just said that because I was just talking to Kane. Toes, I've never featured your channel, so I'm just looking to see if. Hold on a second. Let me stop presenting my screen for self so I'm not like doxing myself. I'm just looking what you have for Idaho 4 videos right here. Okay, I'm trying to look for something that I've seen before. Oh, you have some. Hold on a second. I don't know what I want to play. I'm going to pick something really quick, you guys. Give me 1 second. Oh, this is a good one. This is perfect. All right, Toes, this is the one we're going to play. Here we go. Well, I got to present it. Oh, this is a 6-minute video. All right, here we go.
For true crime, 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 for true
In the famous words of Rodney King, he once said, "Can't we just all get along?" Okay, what this video is about is to bring some clarification to Jay Embry and Get a Clue or Sigma Chi or whoever else wants to join in
His name is Brent Kopaka Berger.
this argument. But what I'm here to do is bring clarification on what we're really seeing here. So what I'm going to do here is, if I don't move fast enough for y'all, just forgive me because I'm just figuring all this out. But I did notice something here. So this here is the pole that Jay Embry's talking about that the camera is on, which he is saying is pointing in the direction of, he's saying that it's pointing in the direction of Steiner going away from Steiner in 195, which is how they captured the front license plate for supposedly and apparently Brian Koberger's car. So here's the problem with his theory. And really, in not trying to choose sides, they're both correct and they're both wrong, but this is what I'm going to show you guys here. On this poll here, Jay Embry says that there's a camera. We're going to zoom in a little bit here. And clearly, we can see that there is no lens on this camera. And I also took screenshots, and I'll insert them in the video.
Hold on. I think I have I'm not trying to like hijack the video I'm trying to feature with you, but I think I have a picture of this same exact telephone pole I want to show you. Hold on. Tell me, you guys, is this the same telephone pole? No, wait. Okay, never mind.
I may insert them here, or I may insert them there. I don't know.
Oh.
But
Hello.
I'll insert them in the video. And what you'll notice here is that this is not a camera. So get a clue is correct. You'll see that there's an antenna on top of it and that there's no lens to support that it is a camera. The problem with Jay Embry's theory here, once again, I'm not trying to choose sides or anything, is that if you go past this pole just a tad bit, not much, just a tad bit, and then you turn around and you look at this pole from a different angle from behind it, and I zoom in here, you will notice that there's a cord right there. And once again, I took screenshots and I circled, and I'll insert them. But you'll notice that there's the power cord or the AV cord.
I'm going to pause there. Is Toes, are you sure that those are cameras? I mean, I'd love to know everybody's thoughts, but are those cameras, or could it be like a Stingray? Just throwing it out there.
I don't know, but you still will see the antenna there, and you will notice that that cord is plugged in into the back of whatever this device is. Now, my suggestion is that it's probably a Doppler radar device, or either some type of radar device for traffic within that town, but I don't think it's a camera. And even if
okay, I don't know. So just since we're on the subject, you guys, well, could it be a Stingray you're talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been looking at these telephone poles. Michael Adario has been showing me these telephone poles. I mean, it depends. Like a portable Stingray would be around that size. And when I say Stingray, I'm just using it in the broadest sense of the word. And I had that picture up when I was saying it, but that would be the size of like a portable Stingray from my understanding. It's just a weird shape for a camera. But then again, the mount looks like a camera mount too.
And if it was a camera, that camera would be pointing at Steiner and Highway 95, which means that it would have only caught the back license plate of the apparent vehicle. You guys see what I'm saying? So, and to support Jay Embry, you know, there are other cameras in Moscow. We'll go down the street here. We'll go down 190. We'll go down 95 here. And we'll go down a little bit further. Actually, we'll just speed it up a little bit here. We'll go to Sweet Avenue and Highway 95. So if we go to Sweet Avenue and Highway 95, we'll notice that there is cameras and all different types of cameras. You have cameras here that can, directional cameras where you can pan in different directions. You have stationary cameras. And you have another camera here, which looks very similar to what Jay Embry is supposing as a camera. But on this one, you will notice that it actually has a front lens. Let me zoom out of this a little bit there. So when you get a front view of that one, you will see that it actually has a lens there. And I took screenshots and I blew those up, and I'll insert them here or there, wherever in the video. But
so, you know, what's really interesting, and yeah, I'm just going to continue to hijack your video, Toes, but you pause at the moments where I can actually ask the questions I want. But actually, let me get what timestamp we're at, because I just want to go back on this. So we're at 5 minutes, 36 seconds. When you were at this one,
cameras and
right there, you were mentioning there's like multiple different types of cameras, and that's super important when it comes to identifying the car. Most of you probably know, but in case you don't, the camera has to be at like a super specific height in order to capture a license plate. So like these would be a demonstration of like the types of cameras that could do that. Because, you know, when you run a red light in certain states, you get a ticket in the mail with a picture of your face running the red light. Anyway, I'll keep going. Go back to where we were.
Zoom out of this a little bit there. So when you get a front view of that one, you will see that it actually has a lens there. And I took screenshots and I blew those up, and I'll insert them here or there, wherever in the video. But the whole purpose of this video is not to say that I'm correct. He's wrong.
I'm actually going to pause there. That's that. As I was talking, Viviana, it's interesting you said that, because I'm looking at those cameras, and this is just another angle, the same ones we were just looking at. It's like, well, if they have to be at a certain height to catch the license plate, like these don't quite seem like the kind that could do that. So what Viviana's comment says, for those listening and not watching, is Idaho DOT doesn't save the camera footage. Those are for traffic updates only.
Wrong, she's wrong, he's wrong. It's not about that. What this is about is, can we just all get along? We're supposed to be here for justice for these 4 victims, and you two are fighting and bickering like little children fighting.
Just in case somebody happened to stumble on this live stream, I did not know what was going to be in it, and I am just playing a video for my friend Toes, and because he just gave us a really good, interesting soundbite, and I wanted to play another one. But we're not trying to rehash drama, and I just think it's funny we're talking about Brent Kopakaberger. Haven't heard his name in a little while. He's due to be back. What do you guys think? I think GAC is going to be back soon.
Over a toy car or a blanket. So I'm here to be the peacemaker and show that whatever's on Steiner Road, I don't believe it to be a camera. And if it was a camera, it's pointing towards Highway 95. And it's not pointing towards the opposite direction, which would have caught the front license plate of the alleged vehicle. So once again, in the famous words of Rodney King, can we just all get along?
Okay, I got to read some of these comments. I don't like the screen when it's like this, though. I want to put it on a clip that has the cameras or something.
Different types of cameras. You have.
So there's some really good comments in here, so I just want to start reading. Oh, hey, it was just a random live stream, so I'm glad you showed up. Oh, and we did clear up. So that was Toe's dog snoring in the background, and we cleared up the dog's name is it's not Jubs, it's Sasha. I should probably read the whole comment. Angel D, Jubs is my pocket bully, my dog Shasta is my pit bull, and Sharpay, and my dog Candy Pants is a whippet boxer. Those are so cute. But let me get back to the starred comments and not get off topic. Yeah, this was a 10-minute live. I'm trying to, like, I want live streams to get like lots of views and circulate and get new people exposed to my channel. So I figure when I do these long live streams, like maybe they're not as appealing, but they're appealing to us, and the show's about you guys. So whatever. And I have nothing to do, so might as well. So back to these comments. I wanted to go to this one from YU. We were looking at the Xana Carr video just a second ago. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to go backwards on Toes' channel, but I somehow backed out. Let me show you what I'm talking about so we have context. But why didn't that share? That, oh my God. I thought I was sharing my screen. I didn't realize I was sitting there staring at you guys. I wish I had my streaming buddy here with me. All right, so this is what we're talking about. So YU was saying hubcaps look the same. So let's just compare them. I was looking at the tail lights. They both do look like Honda Civics. Jeff brought up the license plate too. Let's see if we can actually see the license plate when it drives by. So license plate, hubcaps, and taillights.
Down just.
It's too pixelated. All right, so get a good look at those hubcaps. And then we can see Xana's car here.
Victim Kaylee Gonsalves' parents join court TV.
I mean, you're right. The hubcaps do look a lot alike. I mean, they look the same. Interesting. Anyway, let me get back to the other comments we have here. Back to the star comments. Viviana says, oh, and you know what? I want to have the, I'm going to pull the traffic lights back up.
True crime.
That there is.
Toast, I hope I'm not messing up your videos in the algorithm by clicking on them and clicking out. I'm sorry. I'll go back and watch them through again afterwards. There is no video from any intersection cams. All footage they got from Indiana was businesses and homes. Washington, on the other hand, does save footage. You know, you have all this advanced, like, why would you not have some sort of policy? I mean, it would be a huge deterrent for crime to know that if people knew that they're being caught on camera and saved. That was also testified to during the motion to compel hearing. I am not wrong. Oh, I didn't know it was a debate in there. I thought this was interesting. Angel D says the traffic cams here in Melbourne are super HD. We've been under surveillance for years. And I only heard about that. And I know it's not throughout all of Australia. I know it's like only half of Australia was, I don't know. I recall that's what they were saying. That was a really big problem for people, is that they could easily be monitored by the government as far as their quarantines. And I saw, I don't want to speak on it because I mean, I didn't like prepare for it, but I saw some crazy stuff when they were enforcing the quarantines. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to get into, like, I saw like a teenager get arrested, like his parents get arrested or something because the teenager left the house, or, you know, wanted to go see the sunset with his friends on the beach or something. So I remember hearing that. And they have a control over their city because of it. And then Angel D says, I'm wondering if they waited too long to get the footage from all the relevant cams, in my opinion. And we hear that when we talk about suspect of the video of the suspect video. I'm just seeing if I have the picture right here. Actually, I think I probably don't. But is it? No. But you guys know the one I'm talking about, the at the gas station when they took the picture with the distorted headlights. They said that that was a couple weeks later. Oops. See if I can take this camera, take this picture down. All right. Crazy college video. I know I am. I hope I'm not getting low energy though for you guys. And I had, like, when we were talking, I thought of another video I wanted to show you guys that I forgot what it was. I was thinking though, Toes, if you haven't seen this, I wanted to show you this camera that I have a picture of. Allegedly. Let me take his comment down. This is the 712 cam. So like Xana's car would have been like where that white truck is, right about there. So you get a perspective of where this camera was. Because the photo you see in the little square on the picture was given to me by Mikey, and then he sent me the raw footage from where he spotted it. And it was like an early tour that a reporter had done. And he happened to catch that camera mount on there. So anyway, I just wanted to show you what I had. And then, oh, we have some good comments here. Hold on a second. I've got to read some of these. Oh, okay. You only missed 10 minutes of the play. Could Jasmine be driving the car, people at the house? That's a really interesting thought. I mean, it's a car. It's an expensive thing. It's not something that, it would go somewhere. So yes, that's a really good observation. It could be Jasmine. It could be a friend of Xana's, a close friend, but it does look like the same car. It's not out of the realm of possibility. There's two identical cars in the neighborhood, but interesting. That's not true. It's just what Ellie said. Wait, we could also discount the parts where Kiki was. Sorry on that. Yeah, so there's a few minutes of this live stream you'll never get back. Smart City. Okay, Toe says, I know for a fact that Idaho does record traffic. That seems like it's, well, they talked about the system they record traffic on in court, didn't they? Now that I'm just processing this in my head now that we're having the conversation, because no, I'm not sure if I heard that. Okay, this is a great question. I'm jotting this down because every time I have a long live stream, I never remember what I'm going to look into. So this is a big one right here. So we're going to look into Xana's car a little bit more, but also I want to know Idaho traffic cams. And I do have info on this. I'm just not prepared to speak on this, but I think I have pictures of all the traffic cams. Give me 1 second. Hold on, you guys. If we're into this. Hold on. I think I have all of them. I've never showed them on the channel. I do. Hold on. OMG. All right, here we go, you guys. I'm just going to display my screen. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Thank you for starting another rabbit hole, you guys. So this is what I have. I really haven't gone through these in months. And these come from Mikey, and he specifically told me that he got these from one of Sweetie Pilo's shows, just to make sure we're giving credit to where these came from. I should take myself off the screen. Hold on. I'll take Toe's comment down too. Maybe I'll do a segment on this since I have all these. Look at that one. Like, that seems like it would catch license plates, doesn't it, you guys? What do you think? Drop it in the chat. Don't you think that reads license plates? Maybe that one's in Washington. Oh, this is Palusa Drive. Washington Street. And that, oh, that's not all I got. Hold on, I just skipped one. What's that? Jackson Street. And that's all I got. But anyway, just wanted to bring those up. Let me get back to the comments here. They will fine you $600 if your mobile phone is even resting on your leg or viewable half out of your pocket, allegedly. Wow. Well, that's a big one. I just heard some statistic, and I think we all know this, but like, it's more dangerous than driving intoxicated. Because at least you're trying when you're intoxicated. You know what I mean? We'll keep this one up. This is a good photo. We'll keep this one up. That's the best one, I think. There were blockades during the lockdown. The one that I remember is somebody like wanted to, he was sick or he just wanted to get outside, and like they arrested him in the elevator or something, or they proved that he had left his house because of the cameras. Everything digital nowadays does get saved. I might like back to basics. What time is it? Oh my God, it's almost 1 a.m, you guys. I get up. Okay. All right, we'll watch it. Let me get through your comments though. Hold on. Because you guys teach me. It was all to see how easily controlled we can be, in my opinion, and they went all in with it. Fines, roadblocks, everything. Forced vaccinations, a lot. You don't even hear about the thousands of we heard about it here. It didn't fall on deaf ears, and it was heartbreaking because we always think of Australia as a more free country than that. But I did hear that like extensive restrictive controls were only in one part of the country. You'll have to let me know. I thought the western, if I'm correct, the western part of the country wouldn't even allow them to enforce those laws past a certain border. Please drop it in the chat. Viviana says, it's true. Those cams are only meant to monitor traffic situations. They don't save footage. Idaho also doesn't allow tickets from remote sources, so they have no red light cams either. So is that a law in Idaho? What is it called? Tickets from remote sources. Melbourne, Australia. They don't say police are never able to get footage. If this is a known problem, it sounds like it's by design, not trying to be conspiracy theory, but I mean, what a nice little city with all these like extremely expensive cameras and systems. Why aren't they saving their footage? Official wants to know what time it is for us. It is 9:34 there. It was 12:34 a.m. your time when you wrote that. it's pretty, where wait, you're ninth. So you must be, if you're in the US, you must be on the West Coast, probably Moscow. Kiki, I just sent you a short video. Could you look at it? Yes. Hold on. I have to stop sharing my page because that's my email. Hold on. I can stop my camera. Oh, this is a perfect size video for the live stream. All right. Let me make sure. Oh, it's by, is this by Olivia? Olivia? All right. So this is by Chronicles of Olivia. Let me pull this up on YouTube. All right. So this was recommended by DB, just so we make sure, and it's Chronicles of Olivia. I'll type up a banner while this is playing. Please go visit her channel. She has amazing early reporting on this case, things you just can't find anywhere else. All right. Well, before I do that, let me get through the rest of these comments that I had started. So we have a PTSD from the lockdown in Melbourne. In my opinion, no one talks about it anymore because it triggers us. And I think that whole thing is like testing how easily it can be done. I think it may have had the opposite effect in the United States. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, because I truly feel that our school systems had a lot of greater attention after the pandemic, because parents finally were getting much more involved in the structure of their kids' studies. I think that was a good thing that came out of it. I think we remembered the uniqueness of our, God-given rights, that when we had them taken away and we did it for the greater good, we kind of forgot what the point of our rights were. So I think there are good things that came out of it too. I'm just trying to find a bright side here. All right. I'd like to know what I'd like to know what I am was driving. Oh, I know who you're talking about, Ian. Yeah, okay. Mute myself. You're at the muting part. Was it at the house Emily lived at? Because Xana and Emily were best friends, so she could have borrowed the car or parked there. Oh my gosh, Viviana, that's a really interesting explanation. So that's noted. And when I do, actually, let me write a note of this. Emily's car. Because when I do a follow-up video on this, I'll include that theory. And I feel like it's something that we can find out, right? I don't know how, but I feel like the VIN number is public knowledge somewhere. I don't know. Not that we want to. I mean, that's pretty invasive, but we're not solving any mysteries. I don't know why I even suggested that. I'm just saying it's possible. All right. Official says, in Los Angeles during quarantine, if they caught you in the street after curfew, or if you were homeless, the police would gather and took them all to go to Dodger Stadium. It was crazy. My brother helped before he went to college. He worked for one of my cousins out in LA. And I'm just going to tell you guys my entire life story. And he actually redid Dodger Stadium, and this was like probably 20 years ago. But my cousin had a company that they had something to do with, like, I want to say like 3M or something, but they did a lot of professional sports stadiums, and they had redone all of Dodger Stadium. And I remember my brother was like, I'm not telling anyone in this damn city that I redid Dodger Stadium, because I guess that was when they removed the Dodger blue and changed it. And he was like, I don't want anyone to know I was part of that. But anyway, that was a long time ago. And he used to tell me that LA was the center of the world, just so you know. But you probably know that. Hey, Bree, nice to see you. All right. Angel D says, legit, Google where you live and find out if you live in a smart city. I'll stop. It's almost unavoidable. Just don't look up. Yeah, down a rabbit hole again. Rabbit holes are so cute. Well, you're sending us down another one, so. Viviana says, they show real-time traffic and weather conditions. She's a really great creator. I don't know if I've ever given her a shout out on the channel, so I'm glad we actually thought of that and we showed the pictures. Jeff says, from the ITD email, most of the ITD cameras take snapshots every 5 to 15 minutes, and I could usually see up to 24 hours of past images. Remote weather information, RWIS, have similar image polling. Toe says, back in 2009, I would drive from Spokane to Canada for work. My boss would replay DOT footage of me driving to work. Oh my God. You were probably the best driver, Toes. I can't even text and walk my dogs at the same time. That's what I'm saying. It's so bad. I am so grateful for voice command. I hate it when it syncs with my car, though. It's like, doesn't understand my accent or something. Yes, there were curfews and you got fined if you were outside. And the email that Jeff was referencing was from Barton Phelps of the Idaho Transitory Authority or whatever it is. And then Viviana says, WSDOT saves the recordings. And in the future, I always think that about people in like France. Every New Year's Eve, when you see like fireworks over the Eiffel Tower and you still have six hours to go. DB Tabe says, there's a license plate reader in Idaho/Washington state line right now. Toes turning over. So we're going to watch the video in a second. It was only Melbourne. Probably the largest population center in Australia. Washington loves surveillance. Oh, politicians and celebrities were exempt. Oh, isn't that the truth? Same here. It was funny because we weren't allowed to get our hair done, but I'm not going to say their names, but I can think of a mayor and I can think of a Speaker of the House that got their hair done while we all had to sit home with our freaking hair. I'm still upset about that. But I didn't name any names because I'm not trying to be political. Yep. The ticket has to come from the officer actually seeing you. I've never heard of that too. No remote ticket. Around 2 years of full lockdown. That's heartbreaking. And there are class action lawsuits underway, allegedly. They are, but I have to say, in my opinion, allegedly. I can see why now that we know about where you come from. Pacific time, not mountain time, you could. True, Viviana. And some of us Washingtonians love our surveillance cams too. Washington is a beautiful state, by the way, you guys. I absolutely love Washington. I love the mountains that surround them. Mount Hood, Mount Rainier, and Mount St. Helens. They're so beautiful. Part of why I want to move to Lewiston, Pennsylvania. Washington hates freedom. Well, here's the thing, you guys. You can't just keep moving away. You got to get active in your communities and change things, or there will be nowhere left to go. PKC says, Viviana, they will ticket someone from bus cams. My husband got ticketed once. Yeah, she does a great job. Going to Idaho weekly kept you sane during COVID. It was different. Like, I wish I could do it over, like dropping groceries off at my father's front door and not hugging him. Like, I wish I could do that over and not do that. And Toast says to Viviana, if you were a minority, you wouldn't like Idaho as much. I didn't know that was the comment. I wasn't trying to get all controversial here. Sorry about that, you guys. But obviously, we don't want people to not speak their truth. Viviana says to PKC, here in Washington, they will allow the bus driver to turn in your license plate and you will get a ticket. Maybe because it's an actual physical person, not just like the bus cam. Well, obviously that's why. Official says ADHD diagnosis rocketed during quarantine. Should you change your name to Devin out of photo? I heard you say something the other day and I realized that it's hard to tell if you're a girl or a boy with your name. Oh, thank you for dropping the link, and we're going to play it in a second. Wait. Oh. Okay. I didn't realize Olivia had reposted her older videos until recently, been rewatching them. And that is one thing I will say is that she left up a lot of shorts, but a lot of the longer videos were gone. And there were interviews people kept referencing from her channel that I hadn't seen. So that's good to know. I didn't realize she put older videos up. We'll definitely all have to go check her out after this. Viviana, this was in Idaho. Driver turned recording in. Ellie wasn't even sure he overtook the bus, but said the drivers get upset if he didn't follow through. I see. So he had to follow through for the bus. Hey, Chickbait. Nice to see you. I saw you in Kane's live earlier. I hope I didn't overlap too much. I was waiting for him to get done, but I couldn't wait any longer because I had to do this live tonight because I don't think I'm going to be able to do one tomorrow. Official says, I worked in an elderly retirement home and I had to quit during the quarantine. Too many patients were dying and I was getting depressed. So sad. I'm so sorry you went through that. Hold on. I'm just pre-reading my comments before I put them up. California even filled in a skate park courses so that the kids couldn't get outside and skateboard during COVID. It was ludicrous. That almost breaks my heart as much as hearing the elderly home. Obviously, it's not. It's comparing two horrible things, but preventing the children from playing. And like what I was just telling Angel, I saw that video in Melbourne where a mother was fined, a single mother was fined like all this money because he was like 12 or 13. He wanted to go to the beach and watch the sunset with his 3 friends. Who's going to catch a virus outside? We don't need to talk about it because we don't want to get censored, but and it happens when you talk about it. I live in a stupid city. Just ask anyone that lives here. And then Andy Libby says, I've actually used a similar line like that with a Pullman cop before. So you must be back further in the stream. And that's what I'm saying is I opened with that because when you listen to the clip in full, I mean, it's a long clip. It's like 10 minutes. But like all the conversation he has seems normal. And then even to top it off, when people say, well, he's trying to explain away or argue or whatnot, you're also talking to somebody who is standing above you as an authority figure, who has weapons, who has the power to fine you, who has the power to do a lot to you, you just talk a little bit differently when you're looking up speaking to somebody in authority, I think, in my opinion. Yeah, DV, I'm sure she understands. Well, did I read something and not get Coeur d'Alene right? Okay, I must have said something. Wait, hold on. Debunking you and Jeff H as a mod. Laughable, ridiculous. Jeff H has been with me since I didn't even have barely any true crime friends. I like Jeff to be able to give a good other side to the debate, because I think that in my chat, people stay really civil. I think one of the reasons people stay civil is because we let people speak their truth in here, and we try not to censor them. Although I need to do a little bit better job censoring things. Hey, and if you guys don't mind, if you could please hit that like button, it really helps me out. Okay, so Micro Blue says, evening, y'all. Late lurking. By the way, I have a blonde lab / whippet mix called JJ Cheyenne JJ. That is so cute. I love the name Cheyenne too. Oh, I came up with a YouTube alias. I'm going to, I wanted to come up with my own chat room personality. So I came up with an avatar. I'll surprise you guys. Oh, I'll tell you the name of my YouTube alias is Callaway. That's a good one, right? I would pull it up right now, the avatar up right now, but I don't feel like it because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, we all remember who went to get their hair done. There were 2 of them. There's one in Chicago and there was one in LA for officialists. Wait, what? You can't say that. You are debunking, but you have the biggest. I don't like labels. You know, we're all people. When they would say the world was ending in 2012, I waited for those living in later time zones to perish first and confirm if the world was ending once New York struck midnight, and we knew nothing happened. I was really scared during 2000, though. I thought all of our computers would like freak out. It's a beautiful state, but has some bad government officials. It is, Kiki. We have everything from almost high deserts, rolling farm hills, to mountains covered with pines, beautiful beaches. The beaches are so beautiful in Washington State, and there's a variety of different ones. But you do have it all, because you have those rolling hills. There's like, I don't know if it's in Washington, but do you guys know like the chain McMenamins? I went to this one like winery in Washington by McMenamins, I think it was. It had like this Jerry Garcia statue in it, and it like, I think it was a mental institution, honestly, that they like converted into a winery, if I remember correctly. And but that was like farmland, and it was like rolling hills. And I've been up and down the Columbia River, like in and out of Oregon and Washington, and that always strikes me too, because some places it's like as blue as the Caribbean. Other places there's like black sand, and it's all like drudged for boats and stuff. I went to like places where you could, the Columbia River turned into like natural water slides, like rock water slides. Seen a lot of cool things in that area. It's beautiful. Let's be please. I do. I was thinking of DB Cooper too. All right, let's play this Chronicles of Olivia clip, and then I'm going to read through the comments and star the ones I'm going to read, so that we're not having a lot of dead air for the people who are just lurking and not participating in the chat. Let me minimize myself. Okay, so thank you for recommending this, DB.
When I went to check on the home at night, it provided a different perspective. I realized that there were lights still on in Maddie's room. In the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students, it was believed that one of the 4 were targeted.
The new information is that Kaylee Gonzalez's injuries were significantly more brutal. That is what I can say. Significantly more brutal than her best friend Maddie's injuries.
Today we find out that Kaylee Gonzalez had significantly more brutal injuries than the other 3. Today we also find out that the girls were found in Maddie's room. In this video, in the top right, Maddie's room has the amber-colored lights. The lights of the home are left on exactly how they were found on November 13th. Seeing the lights on in Maddie's room is an eerie sight. To think that in their final moments, they were peaceful in bed, tucked in after a long fun night out. To think that the shadow of someone emerged from the room and did the unthinkable is terrifying.
So, like we've discussed, we kind of knew that it was in Maddie's room, but this is confirmed. But what I find very, very shocking is we have been bouncing around with who was the primary target of this crime. And despite what law enforcement has said, whether it's the house or it's a specific person, we have learned tonight from News Nation, Brian Enton, that Kaylee did have significantly more injuries than Maddie. Those are the only 2 people that they saw in. Kaylee had significantly more injuries. That says a lot to me. We know that Kaylee was complaining about a stalker. We also know that she worked at the Mad Greek restaurant. And now all these things are starting to come into play. Could this have been a coworker? Could this have been a customer? Could the stalker have been somebody that she saw frequently, even though they weren't in her inner circle? Things are starting to focus a little bit with this new revelation coming out from News Nation.
And there's no way out of the 3rd floor. Would that mean the killer specifically targeted the 3rd floor? Because it doesn't make any sense. Why would the killer go up to a floor where there would not be an easy exit for him?
It makes more sense that the perpetrator went through the back door or one of the back windows, instead of climbing or jumping off of the porch. This makes it seem that Kaylee was a target.
Kaylee's injuries were significantly more brutal, but they were sleeping together in Maddie's room. So
the big question now is, why Kaylee? Is it true that she really had a stalker? And if so, could it possibly be the stalker that did this? Could it have been a coworker or a fellow classmate or an acquaintance? Maybe someone in their inner circle or someone that admired her from afar. So many unanswered questions. The brutality of this is baffling. What could have possibly happened to make someone this angry to commit such a heinous crime? If it wasn't for viewers like you, traveling the country with my friends would not be possible to cover these cases. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Until next time.
So please, you guys, go check out the beautiful Chronicles of Olivia. And you're not going to find other footage like hers when it comes to early on in the case. She has exclusive footage. So I did star a couple of these comments, but I haven't got through all of them. I'm just going to go to my starred comments. So Viviana says, Pennsylvania has different traffic laws. So I figured it was normal for him to try and state his reasoning. Nothing out of line at that stop. I totally agree. And Viviana, I don't know if you caught what kind of like the theme of this was, but I was kind of debunking another mainstream media myth, and we played Nancy Grace and another media psychologist saying how his behavior was so off. Oh, hey, AR, it's so good to see you. My father and his wife live in West Richland. I once moved to the Tri-Cities to quickly moved away. The boat races and the snakes were awesome, though. Yeah, the Columbia is so beautiful. I could literally talk about that area for hours. I saw so much while I was there. My cousin lives in Kennewick, used to live in Pullman, and often went to Moscow. I mean, everyone who's been there says it's such a charming little city. I heard Rory, he was at one of the last hearings in Moscow, and he was saying, like, if I were a college age, and I would want to go to this college. Drip Drop wants to go to the college. He was wearing his Vandal t-shirt the other day. Okay, so this is back to our discussion on psychopaths. There's a video on YouTube, how to spot someone with antisocial personality disorder, 23 to 24 minute video that shows a couple of examples of psychopaths stare or look. That's a physical attribute. Like they didn't talk about that in the video, but I would definitely believe that there's something to that. I'll have to check that out. I think they were more talking about the flawed studies that are pushed out as facts, you know, like the female psychopath that stares too long or moves her head too much. And it was only a study of 200 people and they were all incarcerated. And then that headline act of that non-controlled, completely non-peer-reviewed study then makes the headline. And that's what everyone hears. Oh, female psychopaths move their head around a lot. Everybody's commenting on the Tri-City boat races. A lot of good golf plays. I didn't golf when I was in that area, but yeah, I can imagine the golf courses are unreal. So Angel says back to Official, interesting. It depends on just how affected they are individually, though. Many psychopaths learn behaviors so they aren't immediately obvious, in my opinion. Those races were so cute, cool, huge draw of fans for sure. I'm not familiar with them. Yeah, we're going to have to check out this video. It's impossible to diagnose unless they are honest with their psychiatrist. What drew me to this video is, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about the video we just watched, and I'm sitting here talking about the comments. What drew me to this video is that you can see the photos on the wall through the blinds, and that there would have been light for the perp to see during the unalivings. Yeah, let's take a look at that. I've had conversations. I've actually had conversations with Too Fast. One time we were talking about if those lights that were on the balcony, if they were on, would that have lit up Dylan's window? I don't know. I mean, and then the other way around, if Dylan's room was completely dark and it was light in the hallway, that would definitely explain why you really couldn't see Dylan. But I'm gonna, while I have the comment up, let's just go back.
A different perspective, I realized that there were lights still on in Maddie's room. In the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students, it was believed that one of the 4 were targeted.
The new information is that Kaylee Gonzalez's injuries were significantly more brutal. That is what I can say. Significantly more brutal than her best friend Maddie's injuries.
Today we find out that Kaylee Gonsalves had significantly more brutal injuries than the other three. Today we also find out that the girls were found in Maddie's room. In this video, in the top right, Maddie's room has the amber-colored lights. The lights of the home are left on exactly how they were found on November 13th. Seeing the lights on in Maddie's room is an eerie sight. To think that in their final moments, they were peaceful in bed, tucked in after a long fun night out. To think that the
primary target of this crime. And despite what law enforcement has said, whether it's the house or it's a specific person, we have
of the third floor, would that mean the killer specifically targeted the third floor? Because it doesn't make any sense. Why would the killer go up to a floor where there would not?
I went to check on the home at night.
Okay, here we go. I don't know if this is where, so this would be the hall. Would this be the hallway?
Provided a different perspective.
Oh,
I realized that there were lights still on in Maddie's room. And the murder of the 4 university.
We'll stop on the girls and have their picture up. What drew me to the video is that you can see the photos on the wall through the blinds, and that they would have had been light for the perp to see during the unalivings. And then Angel D says, I remember Olivia being on somebody's panel years ago, and they could hardly question her properly because they were obviously smitten by her beauty. LOL. It was funny in my opinion. That's so cute. I know every time I show her on my channel, all the guys are like, wow, Chronicles of Olivia is pretty hot. Thank you for the validation. Dodo word. Andy Libby says, how does Nancy Grace count as mainstream media? Did anyone know who she was before the crime? She was a prosecutor. And I believe she became a prosecutor specifically because her fiance was murdered. And the devastation of it drove her to become part of the criminal justice system and ultimately, you know, the journalist she is today. But I mean, as far as mainstream media, I judge it by the size of the platform. I mean, I think our advertisers here on YouTube could certainly separate us from mainstream. You know, there's probably an actual definition. Although I know your comments mainly facetious. My mother-in-law lived down in Pullman, and I was there all the time. Wait, I kind of went off her a bit after the Paramount special. You know, I never watched the Paramount special. And then Old Granny Annie Traveling Again says, is Chronicles on YouTube? I reserve my name, I was reading on the other side, on all social media. Just shy away from TikTok. X, U.S. government employees cannot load it on with government phones. Tells me something. Hey, yes, and while we're on the subject, I did have a banner here. So it's at Chronicles of Olivia. So please check out her channel. I mean, go watch this video, but just go check it out. She has a ton of videos, just like we were saying from early on. Just back to the whole area. Nice. My cousin's husband was teaching veterinary science at WSU. It is a real university town. I'm starting to get tired. We'll know who all the psychopaths are because they won't be yawning right now. I was following Delphi and then Idaho 4. I'm trying to just stick with them now because I'm watching way too much YouTube. It's so bad. Okay, I'm going to just tell you this because it's late night and it's late in the live stream, so not everybody's going to hear it. But I had to stop myself for a second, just going back to what we watch on YouTube. I generally watch like pretty PG stuff on YouTube. I have my favorites, but I'm scrolling through my video feed and it's like dinner time yesterday. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta click on this video. He's like, what is it? I'm on my phone. And I'm like, it was the worst headline. Trigger warning, you guys. The headline was, daughter cuts up mother and puts her in the oven. That was the trial. And I'm like, I got to click on this. I got to see what happens. And he's like, didn't you just read the title? You know what happens. And I'm like, well, I guess so, but I got to know, I was like, what? And he's like, I couldn't click on that. That's awful. And I just think about it like, I feel like I've been desensitized in some way. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about. And if you've seen the video, because I felt too guilty to click on it, let me know. We're talking about psychopaths mirroring people, and old Granny Annie is traveling against this. Angel D, yes, they mimic people. Ugh, I'm married too. A lot of good times here. I'm sad it won't be up there for the homecoming tomorrow. I don't know what we're talking about. Watching full screen in Zoom. Are we talking about at Maddie's room? Oh, I can see the pictures in the wall. Okay. Let me put it on full screen. I don't know if it's going to let me zoom. I'll try. It just like zooms the words. I don't understand. But I can definitely see pictures through those blinds. Oh, no, I can't get off the video.
I realized that there were lights still on in Maddie's room. In the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students, it was believed that one of the 4 were targeted. There were lights still on in Maddie's different perspective. I realized that there were lights still on in Maddie's room. In the murder of the 4
It goes
University
into focus for one second. Let me just do it frame by frame. There we go. Is that, or is that a person in there? Either way, the lights, they said, well, according to Chronicles of Olivia, this is the way the house was left from that day. Your daughter is a Coug. Do you eat dinner at the Coug when you go visit her? Okay, when we go back and watch these very early videos, we realize just how little new information we have since then. Yeah, it's breathtaking. Living room. Okay, sorry guys. Let's get to the right clip. Freaking rabbit hole, DB.
The home at night. It provided a different perspective. I realized that there were lights still on in Maddie's room. When I went to...
It has to be this you're talking about, right? And yes. I mean, you can clearly see through the blinds. It's an interesting video. One of my cousins is in U of I marching band, so a bunch of family was there at homecoming a few weeks ago. That must have been a fun homecoming, especially if you know someone in the band. I remember those LE cam from the field. That one light going off while they were stopping those boys. Sorry, I'm yawning. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Oh God, that song is stuck in my head now. Nancy had a show on Headline News for years too. That's what it was. I mean, and she's been on other networks too. My sis-in-law was a, excuse me, I'm yawning now. My sister-in-law was a valedictorian for her class when she graduated at age 32, which we were all very proud of. Amazing. So it's so amazing, number one, that she's still young, but to go back and get a career at 32 and put yourself through that. I'm sure she had to work full time while she did it. But second, to be valedictorian of your class, juggling all that at that age, that's just really impressive. Probably inspirational to somebody watching. Yeah, in my opinion, you don't have to watch the special. It was basically the Paramount special. I thought you were talking about another YouTuber. I was hesitating. It was basically completely stating and laughing at many online crime sleuths when they pitched it differently to them. And I remembered that statement, not that I'd ever be offered a but just I've heard that that was kind of painful for some of the people involved, is they came in to make these great clips and then they were kind of like edited to make them look differently. And again, I haven't seen it. I have Roku with a million apps that seem to watch only YouTube. I don't even know why. I have Netflix. I only watch it on the weekend. I'm going to watch Hubie Halloween next. I love that Halloween show. I watched a few of those midday shows, and now my YouTube feed is filled with plane crash documentaries. I can't remember. I had someone on my panel talking about ADHD, and I literally had ADHD commercial ads for 6 weeks afterwards. It was like they found the keyword of their dreams. And the other one was I was looking up something for debunking something else I said, and I just typed in the word cannibalism. And then I started getting recommended all these true crime stories about cannibalism. Yeah, I'm talking too much because I'm overtired. Sorry. Wait, when you're yeah. Oh my gosh, he had the funniest thing to say. He's like, I was going to comment on that live. He's like, I heard all your little comments. I watched your live. I'm like, what? And he goes, he's like, I was going to comment on there. He's like, I pay for that damn computer. I pay for those lights. I pay for the internet. He goes, that's my office and my work computer. He's like, when I need a check, he's like, I kind of take priority. And I thought it was really cute, but he of course, he said it much funnier and more clever. But I'm like, you should have commented on it. They all love you on YouTube. But he doesn't have time for YouTube anymore. I didn't realize I was muted, you guys. I'm so sorry. Angel D says to a catacomb man says to Angel D, to have this case gagged for years now is just sad. I hope we learn what the details are when it goes to trial. And then Toast says, Swappy, no, we eat at Zips. I haven't heard of that one. I'll look it up. I only know the Coug because of Chronicles of Olivia's friend there, JLR, because he did a segment on the Coug. Wait, you were a nun for Halloween? You must have been a funny kid with a good sense of humor. No, that's fine. I mean, literally, I came on to debunk one mainstream media myth. I was going to be super cool and do like a 20-minute live stream. Boom, boom. No, we're going on 2 hours. It's because I enjoy the chat with you guys. I should have ate a gummy before I started. Well, I'm originally Scottish, so I tend to swear a lot. I like inherited genealogically. We appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for supporting us. And please check out Chickbait's channel. And so you're from a Catholic Italian family. I wanted to be a nuns and priest. My mom almost joined a covenant. People don't understand like the beauty or the, you know, unless they understand, you know, people who outside of the religion don't understand it. I'm like a member of a Catholic church here in my city, but I've never been to it. But they send me letters like every day. Like, you can see Xana's blinds also. Right. And it's rain. Wait. Irish Catholic here. Half Slovenian. What an interesting background you have. Official says, I'm Salvadorian. Don't even get me started. These college kids are so immature. I mean, they're like 7th graders. Yeah, it is true. I do find that the way that Irish Catholics pray is so much like Roman Catholic. Wait, you're 25% Norwegian Viking? That's awesome. That's a pretty cool heritage. I'm sorry. I tried to mute my microphone, Toes. These students are babies. They shouldn't be allowed to be unsupervised. And Viviana says, Catacomb man, I wouldn't deny that. I was like that when I was in college. God, the things I thought were so funny when I was 20. Well, okay, so you guys know that, speaking of Catholics, you know that old Saturday Night Live skit with the Mary Catherine Gallagher? So there's like an age gap between my husband and I. And so that came on and he's like, that's so stupid. He's like, even back in the day, I didn't even think that was funny. That's like the stupidest thing. And I'm like, I was really young when that came out and I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was like the funniest thing ever, but I was a kid. And Saturday Night Live was like really popular, but it's just so funny because he thought that was the dumbest skit ever. And I was like, thought it was hilarious. Yeah, you guys, it's getting bad. I probably should get off the live stream. Oh God, I had contagious sneeze attacks in high school. Well, the teacher would have to shut the class up and be like, that's enough blessings for you today. Hey, Moonvale, thank you for showing up. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I feel like I'm forgetting that I was supposed to play. Oh, there was a video. It was Toe's video, Back to Basics. I hope it's not a 30-minute video. Or I'm going to grab my vape. He just wants to be the number one. That's all. That's all he asks. As Robert, my streaming buddy, always says, happy spouse, happy house. My sister and I were talking about buying my dad a new car once, and then Hulu and YouTube started blasting car insurance. It's so sucks. And the worst is like your TV spies on you and it tells like your computer. We were talking about dog treats. Sure enough, Chewy ads on YouTube. You know what else throws me off? There's a couple companies like Lanscana is one I can think of. And I bought like a bathing suit from them. I bought a couple dresses. And every time I like log on, the advertiser plays me an ad for Lanscana, but they show the things I've already bought. Like, I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's the being like, hey, we know exactly who you are, but like, why are they displaying the clothes I already bought? Like, it never displays something that you think I'd like. Actually, it might be a good strategy. You remember how much you like the company and you go back. We actually had a little discussion on how we think Kiki's husband must be not to be punching above his weight. What? I don't know. My husband's a tough guy. The first video I saw was of you and your husband. Yeah, I interviewed for those watching, I interviewed my husband about the Idaho 4 for like 20 minutes. And I discovered all of these anomalies within the case pretty much because of that video. I literally I said, okay, I'm going to make a video on each of these conspiracies he has, and I'm going to show them where I'm debunking them. And I only got to the first one, which was Dot, and it just about killed me. Again. Oh, Rocco's trying to get me to bring him outside. Wait, hold on. Didn't you know you were live till Kane was nice enough to tell it? Well, I tried to wait. I was in Kane's live chat for an hour. I was going to go live at 10. And then I saw Kane was live. I'm like, well, I'm going to hang out here till 10:30. And then I was having fun talking. I'm like, I'm going to wait till 11. And then I'm like, well, Kane is still live. I'll wait till 11:30. And then I just went live because I thought it was going to be a 20-minute live stream. And now I'm just talking because I'm overtired. You Rocco. We do have a video to get to, though. Stop it, Rocco. Rocco, stop it. Yeah. I'm so far behind on the chat. Rocco, stop it. All right, and I don't know. Oh, Kane, I'm so glad you're not live anymore. I'm sorry. But Kane, I would have came up on panel and done a presentation for you tonight. You should. I'd love to be on your panel sometime if you'd like to invite me. Thank you for holding down the fort. Well, Heather was out in having real life, but not on YouTube, and Christy was asleep. Okay, you think you did the nun thing for 1 year. Amazing. I bet you could write a book about that. I bet you have a lot to say. Is Chickbait still here? All right, let's get to Toe's video. And I'll go through the comments and star some of your comments. I really got to do something about this lighting. My face is red. Okay, yeah, that's the one we were talking about that has the grub truck. Okay. Okay. Disclaimer, I have no idea what he's about to say.
For true crime. Toes 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 for true crime.
Hello. Welcome to Turning Over Every Stone. You can call me Toes. Today, I would like to talk about the basics concerning the Idaho 4 case. I think we need to go back to the beginning and just take a closer look at things. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the group picture of Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle, and the 2 surviving roommates. One thing I noticed about this picture is, do we know who took the picture? Who took the picture? I have a lot of questions about this picture. Whose social media was it uploaded to? You know, just curious. Another thing about this picture I noticed is just curious to who were they visiting? Whoever they were visiting would have had a clear view to the King Road residence from the backside of their apartment. Now, I also noticed about this apartment building, it's the same building where the undercover cops were parked at in the beginning of the Banfield video. To me, that's a little uncommon, you know, for cops to be parked in an apartment complex conducting business. That's usually not the place for them to do that. And if I was the owner of that complex, I wouldn't have appreciated it. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the Corner Club. One thing I noticed in the picture of the Corner Club video is the direction of Kaylee's foot. Seems as if it's pointing towards the door. Like, I just get the feeling that she wants to get out of there. Another thing that I noticed is that Madison Mogan is standing pretty close to Jack DeCour. I also noticed that Jack Showalter is not interacting with the girls, or the girls are not interacting with him. I'm also curious about, what did Maddie say to Adam? I mean, we know that she told him everything, but what did she say to Adam? And who did Adam tell? Did whatever Maddie say to Adam, did it stay with Adam? Or did it go any further? I just find it odd that, you know, with that statement being heard in the video a few hours later, these students were deceased. I also noticed with the grub truck video that Jack Showalter is almost acting as if a bodyguard or Secret Service or some type of protector. What would he be protecting and who is in danger? And it seems more or less that he is protecting Kaylee and not necessarily the girls, because after watching that video time after time, I noticed that he generally only moves when Kaylee Gonsalves moves. When Maddie moves in the grub truck video, he doesn't. But every time that Kaylee takes a step and moves, he does. I also noticed in the grub truck video, to be honest, that the departure of the girls was slightly rude. If Jack was truly their friend, that's not really how you should treat a friend. Not pointing fingers or anything, but the departure was kind of rude. As soon as they left, we also noticed that Jack Showalter left immediately as well. He didn't say goodbye to the group of people that he was conversating with. He just made a straight beeline to where we don't know. Did he come up there with the girls? Did they all get there together and not leave together? And if that was the case, he probably had a pretty embarrassing walk home. It was probably a moment of enlightenment for him to realize that these people that he thought that he was protecting for some strange reason, that they would have just left him abandoned. And if he did have to walk home, and I did hear, and it's not confirmed, that he lived by the King Road residence, if he did have to walk there, I bet you that was a pretty tough walk home for him. Probably every single footstep that he was taking to get home, he might have been cursing the girls, or well, maybe it was nothing. Who knows? But I do find it interesting. Another thing that I find interesting is that it takes 34 minutes to walk from the grub truck to the King Road residence. And with the girls and he departing from the grub truck at 1:52 a.m., he would have arrived to the King Road residence somewhere approximately around 2:26, which ironically is around the same time that the phone call started going out to Jack DeCour. And then those phone calls stopped at 2:52. And then a few minutes later, we can hear in the Banfield footage a woman saying, "Stop it, stop, stop."
Okay.
At approximately 2:55.
Okay. Is there a reason why you didn't stop back there?
And to confirm that, I went to the Linda Lane footage and looked at the timestamp of 2:55 as well. Actually, 2:55 and 19 seconds, I believe. You will also hear the same voice yelling, "Stop, stop." So with that camera being so far back and the police body cam being completely opposite of where the Linda Lane footage is, I have to speculate that the sound came from somewhere in between, which would place the King Road residence. I also find it odd that the people that had passed away in that house pretty much all were residents of northern Idaho. And I know a lot of you are going to say, well, Ethan's from Washington State. His parents also have a residence in North Idaho. So, like I said, technically all the students that passed away in that house were all from North Idaho, and all the ones that survived were from Boise. I know. You're going to say, well, Bethany Funk was from Reno. I don't think so. I doubt that. If you notice here in this picture, you got Bethany Funk and Jack Showalter sitting on each other's lap. And if you notice her hair is pretty dark. It's not blonde. That picture looks like an older picture. It looks like maybe even a high school picture. And if that is the case, then I would say that Bethany Funk actually comes from Boise, Idaho. I don't know. What do y'all think? Well, I thank you for taking your time out to listen. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, share. But thank you everybody for visiting Turning Over Every Stone. You can call me Toes, and I hope that you have a great day. Thank you.
I loved that video, Toes. That was so good. So I have a few things to talk to you guys about. I took some notes while that was playing, but before I get to the notes, I want to get to the starred comments I had from you guys. We were talking about the coup earlier, and they're saying that they eat at Zips, or they're telling me what Zips is. It's a local fast food burger place with the most awesome burgers. My grandson has called Zips a good place to eat ever since he was 4 years old, she said. And I started this comment, Toast, because I wanted to make sure you saw it. DB Tabe says, you have such an awesome voice, Toast. Yeah, great videos tonight. Thank you. So back to the discussion. So Kaylee's father said they were allegedly talking to JD about going to another bar, but JD was tired and went home. That could explain the rude departure. You know, I remember them running away laughing. Was that when they left? Is that what you guys are referring to as the way that they said goodbye was rude? Because I might have to rewind the grub truck and see exactly what you're talking about. But I do remember them running. And then Angel D says after that, also, Steve said that they did everything right. Chaperone. Was JS chaperoning them to their private ride? He definitely looked like a chaperone. I was taking notes when Toes was doing that video, and then he was definitely lurking or acting like a chaperone. Like he acted like he was there doing a job, like he was trying to make it look like he was doing his job too. I think he was definitely there to watch out for his buddy's friend. And then DB says, I never noticed JS moving when Kaylee did. And yes, the departure seemed rude. Same. JS waved goodbye to them as they appeared to get into the private driver's car, in my opinion. So maybe it wasn't as it appeared to us. I've heard they lived by them. You would think they would have offered him a ride. That's another good point. I thought of a couple things that I wrote down. I just want to get through your comments first. That photograph of them getting ready for the homecoming game or the football game. Was that on Kaylee's Instagram? I mean, because Toes, you were asking, and if you could drop it in the chat. I always thought that that was Kaylee's Instagram, and either that or I don't know if that we had that picture, because I remember in an interview recently, Christy Gonzalez saying that she had Kaylee was always sending her pictures, and a couple of those pictures that she was showing are some of the iconic pictures that we remember from this case. That might have been one of them. The other thing I wanted to say is when they were in the bar and you mentioned Kaylee's body language, I would definitely agree with you on that, Toes. I do the same thing. I literally, it's taught behavior. It's not natural, but I turn my feet towards somebody when I want them to know I'm interested. I turn my shoulders towards someone. But when I want to get away, the first thing I do is start pointing my toes towards the door or away from the person I'm talking to. Then you can move your hips and your shoulders afterwards. But I do agree that body language looked like she was signaling to go towards the door. And then Maddie's body language did look like she was leaning in too close. And then, and you could definitely see somebody was lurking there. All right. We have like 29 new comments. Sorry. Toes, Xana was raised by her aunt and uncle in Post Falls. Her dad moved to Arizona and she didn't want to leave Idaho. You wonder who took the pic. That's a great question. Does anybody know the answer to that question? Did one of the roommates have their boyfriend there with them that night? Was the was the other person on the Leafs present? These are really great questions. Hey, what if? Good to see you. We hope you have a fun and safe weekend too. The photo was posted by Kaylee. Who took it, Viviana? Do you know? I remember it was said that Xana was from Arizona, but she really was from Post Falls, and that's what Viviana was saying. Xana was raised by her aunt and uncle in Post Falls. Her dad moved to Arizona, and she didn't want to leave Idaho. The rumor early on was that Jack, Maddie's boyfriend, asked Jack S. to make sure they were safe. I remember hearing that too. I just couldn't remember where I heard it from. And I mean, you could tell by the body language, both when I was taking notes during the thing. So like both at the corner club and at the grub truck. I mean, even a blind person could see that this was, if he wasn't watching out for them, he was, anyone could tell he was watching out for them. I'm glad you validated that because I couldn't remember where I had heard it. Jackass waved to them as they walked off. So Angel D said the same thing. So maybe it just looked a lot ruder on camera. And they were probably, if he was supposed to watch them, they were probably being smart asses about it. Because how would you feel if your boyfriend had one of his friends watch you? I mean, you would feel safe and flattered, but also you'd probably joke with the person who was sent to watch you. Turning over every stone, I do have a photo of Bethany with dark hair at Reno High School. Moonville, thank you so much for subbing. And thank you for being in the chat tonight. Oh, to Toe's channel. Please go visit Toe's channel. I have a banner up here. Hold on. I'm such an idiot. I don't know, you guys, but I probably should go to bed. Oh yeah, there was one other thing I wanted to bring up about Toe's video. So Toe said, let me back up.
Ironically, is around the same time that the phone call started going out to Jack DeCour, residents somewhere approximate. Another thing that I find interesting is that it takes 34 minutes to walk from the grub truck to the King Road residence. And with the girls and he departing from the grub truck at 1:52 a.m., he would have arrived to the King Road residence somewhere approximately around 2:26. Which ironically is around the same time that the phone call started going out to Jack DeCour. And then those phone calls stopped at 2:52. And then a few minutes later, we can hear in the Banfield footage a woman saying, "Stop it, stop, stop."
Okay.
At approximately 2:55.
Okay. Is there a reason why you didn't stop back there?
And
okay, so I want to stop there because I thought of something when he said that I thought was worth mentioning. So if you look at this Banfield footage, the approximate time was, so if he left at 1:52, the approximate time he would have been, the approximate time they were saying by foot would have been like 2:26. And that's kind of just an arbitrary timestamp. But what Toes is bringing up is not too long after that. You had, I'll show you this letter. We are aware that neither Kaylee nor Maddie made a call to 911. I would need to double check with the girls, as they were the ones who accessed their account, according to my recollection. Kaylee's last call was to Jack at 2:56, after which the phones appeared to go offline. And I'm going to stop there. But the reason I'm reading that to you is because if you look at this timestamp on the Banfield where Toes is pointing out there was that yelling, that stop yelling, 2:55:16 right here. And the yelling happens right at
2:55.
Okay, is there a reason why you didn't stop back there?
And
My point is this. We really don't know what the context of those phone calls were. We don't know why. We've heard from Kaylee's family that was kind of like her thing. She would dial the phone until the person picked up. My point is this, though. If we have that Banfield stamp and there was all this noise activity going on not too far, maybe even an earshot from the house, if you were outside, could that have something to do with why they called 911? Could they have heard screaming or yelling too? Not 911, I'm sorry. Why she could have called Jack? Could she have heard something in the neighborhood that startled her? So it's a really interesting point that you bring up. I know. I need to get off the live stream. Do you have it? No, I can't remember where that footage of JS waving and flipping the bird is. This is kind of an interesting comment on subject. I always thought, what if Jack D had answered the phone calls that night? Would he have been another victim? Would KG have gone to JD's house, in my opinion? One little thing, if one little thing had changed, it could have changed everything. Right before the part on this cams is when the light in the house went off, and then there was a car in the driveway driving away. We must be talking about the Chronicles of... No, we're not. I just didn't know if it was footage you must be taking in general. I'm sorry if I'm not putting that into context. It's not you, it's me. It's so sad to see Banfield and Linda Lane footage, knowing what happened that night. I really hope the rumor that BF took some video with her phone is legit. Yeah, I mean, it just baffles me in a house full of that many young adults that nobody was able to get a distress signal out, and why. And I would have given up on talking about stingrays maybe by now and those types of devices, but kind of feels like a reason why 911 may have not been called. If you're in the middle of an emergency and it's intercepted by a machine like that, it gets dropped, you might not have the opportunity to call it again. I don't know. I have it zoomed out to show where he waves in one of my videos. Yeah. It is way better in the chat when I have a co-host. This is another extremely real possibility. If this is, especially if the suspect has knowledge of crimes being committed. But yeah, a signal jammer, and it's scary to even talk about that. Like, that's how a criminal can get away with these things in society. There's a case down in like Southie, we call Southie, like South Boston, of this like really affluent community, but it was an immigrant community, and I don't think that they maybe spoke up at the right time when they needed to. But essentially, this group was targeting wealthier people within this community that had alarm systems, because they blindly have this blind sense of security with their alarm system, and they basically just used signal jammers, and they were violent criminals, and they I mean, it was for robbery, but yeah, that's how they got into the houses, is using signal jammers on people's alarm system Wi-Fi. If someone took a video, I hope that that video would accurately indicate who is in the video. Wait, Heather, the pics of the guy in a black ski mask carrying and holding, all allegedly right from the start. I have something really, Rochelle, if you're listening, I really did want to show your screenshot tonight, but I want to keep it for its own video. I actually thought maybe I'd do 3 live streams, but I just got 1. I often wonder if 911 was called straight away, that anybody could have been saved. There's another channel called Warning Label Nina, and she was in the chat earlier. Definitely go check out her channel. She's a true artist, but she spoke with or documented something on her channel where an actual EMT or a trauma nurse of some sort talked about that. And, you know, I don't think those girls had any idea, me personally, had any idea what was going on in the house. They couldn't have imagined, but they do say, had 911 been called, this might have been another story. But I hate saying that in the chat. I'm not saying that to place blame on the 2 other girls. Again, like, if this was your or my house, and I know there are lots of other reasons they should have been suspicious, but your head doesn't go to the most atrocious thing it could possibly be. And Miss Curl says, very early on, I had seen comments the DM tried calling the frats while the homicides were taking place. She thought it was one of the frats in the house. Unconfirmed. I've heard same speculations that Bethany thought she was hearing spillover from a frat fight. If D and B were texting each other, though I doubt he had a signal jammer. That's another good point. Thanks, Angel D. I can't wait to have a good weekend. My sister has miniature horses. I'm going to just keep talking. I can't help it. So my sister has miniature horses, and I have this promo I have to do for Black Friday for YouTube. And so I decided I'm going to, while I'm in New Hampshire with all the foliage and stuff, I'm going to do some shots with the miniature horses. I thought it'd be cute. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this. Wait, Rochelle, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for getting me that information. That was really nice of you. Thank you to Heather for getting it to me. Yeah, I wanted to do a segment on it. I'm just not ready yet because I don't want to just show it. I want to tie it into something else. So, but thank you for sending that to me, and maybe I'll do it for a live stream tomorrow, topic as well. But I'm definitely doing a video on it. Oh my God, these horses are so cute. I have video of them. I'm going to show you guys one. I have videos on YouTube of them. This will be what I end with. Hold on. These horses. There's a miniature Italian donkey and the horses, and the donkey's name is Fortuna, and Fortuna means luck in Sicilian. All right, let me share my screen with you guys. So these are my sister's miniature horses. That's a baby horse, obviously. It's eating. That's a horse fight. Have you ever seen a horse fight before? Crazy. All right, that's the longest one. Let me show you some better ones. All right, let me show you the donkey. Where is it? I don't know where the donkey is. I gotta show you the donkey, Fortuna. She's so cute. By the way, these are my shorts, you guys. You should check them out. They're pretty fun.
It's okay. It's okay, honey.
That's a donkey.
Hey. Hey, Bertini.
So that's what I'm up to this weekend, you guys. I have also been kicked, stepped on numerous times. I have the full version of that. Thank you. I'm sorry to torture you guys with my horse pictures. Literally 8 pound, 6 ounce legs. They're so cute. I'll tell my sister. I sent my sister a podcast. I was like, just curious. So, I mean, she just hasn't watched. Maybe she's watched my channel, but she just, I guess, not interested. But last night, I'm like, she seemed interested. She's like, well, I'm like, well, I'm going on a podcast at 9. And she's like, oh, send it to me. And I sent it to her. It was Robert with True Crime Podcast. But I'm like really curious to know what she thinks. And like, I always think like how weird it must be for somebody to listen to us have these chats and these conversations and just like not know, what we're talking about. It must sound so strange. All right. And with that, I'm going to sign off for tonight, you guys. It was really nice hanging out with you for 2.5 hours. I had so much fun. Thank you for bringing energy to the channel. And I hope you have a great weekend. And yeah, thank you for being here. Peace.